All right, what's up, you guys? UFO Proof here. We have a special live show for you guys tonight with a very special guest, Third Phase of Moon. Let me bring these guys on. Blake, Brent, you guys there?
We're here, Kyle. How you doing tonight? You doing
Very
good?
good. How are you guys doing?
Hey, good to have you on, and thanks for having us tonight. This is awesome.
Yes, definitely. I just seen your video that you guys posted of the new Tic Tac. I was going to ask you, where did you guys get that video? Did that come from? Do you know what part of the country, or was that America, Mexico? What part of the world did that come from?
We're trying to confirm that. I think it was coming in from Italy, actually, but we're actually trying to confirm. But what's crazy about that video is that you can see clearly that whatever this thing is, it's moving extremely fast, and people are talking about the Tic Tac all over again. But what's amazing is that we're seeing these things all around the world. And that's what's amazing to me.
Oh,
And
I mean,
that's what I wanted to kind of discuss tonight is where
sure.
is this technology coming from? This tic tac and this kind of technology that we're seeing across the planet. And I kind of wanted to get your opinions on some of this stuff. Do you
Uh,
really think that a lot of this phenomenon is straight up extraterrestrial that's coming in from another galaxy, or do you think possibly that maybe there's a private corporation that may have built this and they're just not telling us? I'm just
no, I don't think
people are
that.
asking these questions.
No, I don't think that for a second. In fact, you're thinking, you're acting like, oh, the Tic Tac is like these are new. The Tic Tac is not a new UFO phenomenon by any means. It's simply a new name for a phenomenon that's been described a million times since the beginning of UFO sightings. People have been describing long, cylindrical, cigar-shaped, tubular, egg-shaped
Yeah, it
UFOs.
really
This
goes
is a
back to
very
even
common.
biblical times. Yeah, even biblical texts for
Correct.
sure, 100%.
I think there's no
Yep.
difference between the Tic Tac or any egg shaped UFO craft that gets described, any cigar shaped UFO craft, or some. I think they're all. I think Lonnie Zamora, in New Mexico, a very famous UFO case. Uh,
Sure.
you,
Even
you got
even Michael Schratt's coming up with these cases over and over with eyewitnesses and the historical evidence of the Tic Tac. Yeah,
you
we
know
I think we could agree on the Tic Tac's been around for a long time. But again, the question is, where do you think it's from, though? Do you think it's possibly that it might be something that has been developed by mankind that has been suppressed somehow, or is it actually
no, I mean, like,
extraterrestrial in nature? That's what we're trying to find out, right? It's tricky.
I
It's
think that it there's the closest thing that we've developed to that would even come close to the looking like the Tic Tac that's
Mhm.
in the air would be a blimp or a dirigible or something.
Dirigibles. Yep.
That's the closest thing I can think of that in terms of design, uh, because that particular design, there is no way for it to have elevation. How do even if you had rockets on the end of it, okay? Let's say it's just a long tube with rockets on the end. How do you get it to go up? Rockets are going to make it go forward, but that's not going to cause lift. You have to have something to cause lift to get you up in the air.
What was
And
Bob Lazar saying? Because you've been following Bob Lazar for like so many years, and he states in his own verbiage that there's some kind of um, anti or depressors of gravity or some kind of technology that they were seeing with these craft that he was observing that was defying physics.
well,
What was
his
that all about?
what he was saying was that the craft that he was helping reverse engineer was creating its own gravitational field, that its antimatter reactor as a byproduct produced its own gravitational field that they would access and amplify around. They were basically amplifying the strong nuclear force of around the perimeter of the
So Bob
craft.
was there to reverse, like his job was to reverse engineer this. That
Specifically the propulsion.
yes,
Specifically propulsion.
100%. So again, why? If my question is, do you think Bob Lazar was wasting his time, or did they maybe actually reverse engineer this?
No, that's
Or
the thing. Even Bob Lazar said that the whole program was wasting their time. He's
so then,
said that a million times.
so if we found a craft like this, it'd be basically we should just throw it away because it's beyond our capability to reverse engineer it.
No, you
Just
just
let.
have to keep working at it until the technology catches up with what they're trying to reverse engineer.
Do you think maybe possibly that 70 years later we did crack the code, or are we still spinning wheels here with this
I think
advanced
that
technology?
I think we've probably gotten a lot further than he was in
How far do
1989.
you think? How far do you think?
I don't think that they've been able to manipulate gravity. I mean,
How
that is
far
a
do you think though?
world-changing, effect. And the first
There's
scientist who's able to do that they're going to have the Nobel Prize.
sure, but again,
You're like, so they're like,
there is
sure,
above
like
top
it's not a
secret,
big
right?
deal. Like it's a huge deal. Like it's
But
the
there's
biggest deal.
100%. If any physicist could do this, apparently, if they could, and there might be um, stories that they have cracked it, but these people are taken out or they're bought off. There's those stories, right? Do you think if you develop this, if you if it's true, if you crack the code, and Kyle from UFO Proof says, "Hey, look, I got it, and I'm gonna tell every physicist on the planet I figured it out." Do you think you're gonna have a free ride? Is the major media gonna pick up on your invention, or how would that roll out if
Well,
you
when you're
actually
doing
crack
it
the
with,
code?
well, okay, so if I
Would
crack
the
the
oil
code,
companies
I'm gonna
not
do
mess
whatever.
with you?
I'm gonna do what every other physicist does. I would go and immediately submit it to journals to have other physicists peer review my discovery, and once they all agree that I am correct and they can't find any faults in it, that's when it becomes a big deal. I send it off
But
to the
what if you
Nobel
can't
Committee.
prove it though? What if you can't prove it? Like there is within physics things that they can't even prove, but they know that it works. And there is a phenomenon within physics that happens all the time, but they say, well, it works, well, therefore it is. But they can't explain on actually how things work. And in certain patents, they're not allowed to give you a patent if you can't tell them how it works. But that's even stating the obvious, but what's
But
maybe
well,
not
that's
the
a
obvious.
patent. That's a patent. That is not uh publishing theoretical physics. You're talking about mechanical engineering. You're not talking about theoretical physics. Those are two completely different sciences.
So one or the other, how are you going to get this craft if it does exist, the tic tac? I'm curious. You think the tic tac is 100% extraterrestrial in nature?
Yeah. There's nothing about it that we can do. Like there's nothing about it that it does that we have the capabilities of doing. As simple as that. Like it's we don't have any craft that can sit in the air, hover, and then instantaneously take off at supersonic speeds.
Has
We're
Bob
talking.
Lazar witnessed that? It doesn't. Hasn't Bob Lazar? Because you believe in Bob Lazar's story,
Yeah,
right?
but Bob
That
Lazar, you got to
there's
remember
reverse
that craft
engineering.
is an alien craft.
So what if this tic tac is part of both of what we're talking about here? That they
Well,
had the military or some private entity, some kind of corporation has reverse engineered it, and now they're testing it on our pilots within a military operation. What's to say that there has not been any kind of advancement in technology being
I'm sure
from
there
what Bob
has been
Lazar
I'm sure
worked
there
on?
has been advancements in our
So what is
technology,
the
but that
advancement?
doesn't make any sense for them to go and test out our own equipment on ourselves like that. Something that they'd want to keep secret. Like, why would they do that?
Why not test the best of the best comparatively to ET reverse engineered tech? And wouldn't that be the most proper thing to do, is go up
No,
against the best chess player?
No, you put it out and you take it to a place like Area 51 where they have all the radar and stuff in the world for testing all the best equipment in the world, and you fly it around there and you see how can we detect it? Can we detect it optically? Can we detect it with radar? Can we detect it with infrared? Can we detect it with thermal imaging? And you test every other basis out there away from prying eyes to see if your this stuff works. Why
So if
why do
you
you
were
want
to
somebody from a foreign nation to be able to come in and spy on your technology? So you definitely
true,
don't want to be testing it in open waters. That doesn't make
well,
the slightest bit of sense.
isn't it a possibility that these black budget programs would rather stay in the dark but test it against the best technology that exists to this day? And not only that, but test our adversaries and their psychological prowess of how they look upon Americans' assets, and think in a better way than thinking that the U.S. says we don't know what it is. When the when,
If you're testing it, you're not going to test something against our adversaries, all right? Because if you're testing it, that means you're not 100% about its functionality and about how it's going to function in
so
actual
who would you,
combat and stuff
if
like
you had
that.
the Tic Tac, you would test it against China or Russia first, is what you're
No, you
saying?
don't test it against them. You test it yourself, and then you
Yeah,
use it
against
against them.
our own assets, 100%.
Yeah, if we were going to use it, we would know everything about it. We would know where it's good, where the testing part is already over.
Maybe it's not even, we're speculating here. Maybe it's beyond testing. Maybe it's already working right now, and it's totally operable, this craft. And maybe it's a propaganda piece to tell everybody in the United States we don't know what it is, and the world says, hey, look, America says there's this Tic Tac flying around, and they say they don't know what's going on here. But maybe they're saying that they don't know what it is because maybe they got something, and maybe we shouldn't mess around with the United States because they might have the Tic Tac. Maybe they're doing some kind of propaganda with the Tic
And
Tac. War
maybe
games.
they're
It's a
not.
chess game. Maybe
Maybe
not.
it's a fucking UFO. Did that ever cross your mind?
Well, it's a UFO, all right.
I mean, like,
100%.
or maybe it is actually
But
extraterrestrial.
does
What if that
UFO
is the
mean
answer?
extraterrestrial? By any means. Occam's razor makes me believe that this is whatever this Tic Tac is, in my opinion. Not saying that anything out there in the phenomenon isn't, but in my opinion, what these pilots are engaging with is something that is man-made. Occam's razor makes more sense than it's some
Occam's razor, more
extraterrestrial
like
crap.
Greer's butthole, okay, that you're fucking licking when you go and say this
What are you talking?
bullshit,
Hold on a
dude.
sec. Hold
You
on.
you know what,
Wait a
dude?
second.
You know
I
what,
thought we're
you
being. I thought we
motherfuckers.
are
You
being
know what, dude?
kosher here.
This is fucking. I'm getting sick of
What?
this fucking bullshit, dude.
I know, but can't we keep it? Let's lead by example here, Kyle. Let's lead by example because there's so much hate going around, and people can't have a debate without getting stupid, right?
You know what?
So
Because you motherfuckers are going around shoving this shit down everyone's throat. It's gotta be. It can't be
we're
fucking.
not saying.
Why
We're just
can't it be
asking
alien?
questions.
Why
We're
can't it
just
be?
ask. It can be 100%, but why can't it be ours as well? And you do.
Because we don't
You're
have the
agreeing.
physics to do it. We have
You're
to have,
agreeing.
we don't even have the
But what
mathematics
about the
to
physics
explain
of
it.
the? What about the physics of the recovered craft that Bob Lazar is working on? What?
That is an
That's
alien craft. That is
okay.
extraterrestrial. That is
So why
not
can't that
man-made.
be? It's not the first. So why can't that be both? Why can't it be both? Why can't the our our United States
Because
the power?
missing a bunch of steps here. You get what I'm saying? Like there's a whole bunch of shit that's missing that
It's been
doesn't make it
70
complete.
years. It's been 70 years, Kyle. What do you think they? You think Bob Lazar was just wasting his time? Why not just throw it away if you can't reverse engineer it? What's the
That's what they're
purpose of
doing is trying to reverse engineer it.
what makes you say they haven't? It's been 70 years. How do you
Uh,
know? Do you know?
where are you getting this number 70 years from when Bob Lazar worked in 1989?
Well, the 47 Roswell crash, and there's been multiple apparent crash retrievals besides Roswell. So there you go. So does that mean they're all wasting their time? They should just throw away these UFOs if they can't reverse engineer it. It's beyond our capability. We can't figure this out. That's basically what you're saying. We can't figure this out.
No, that's what
Maybe
they're
we
trying
did.
to do is figure it out. You see?
What makes you say that they haven't figured it out? I don't understand that. How do you
Uh,
know they haven't figured it out? How do you know
well,
they haven't? That they're going
technically,
to
I don't
trickle it
know
down
that they
to us?
haven't done it.
They're gonna trickle down to America, to
Hang
the
on a
world,
second.
and give us this? No way.
I can barely hear you guys, man. I'm like having to put my head all the way up to the thing. I can barely hear you guys. Give me 1 second. Get you like I don't know if maybe it's your guys' mic or something, but like you guys have like no sound coming through, and I have my volume all the way up.
Well, I think we're good. It looks good coming on the
Now,
audio meter here.
okay, now you're sounding a little better. Like
Yep,
it
yep.
was, yeah, it was so quiet, man. I could barely even hear you guys. Um,
Well, the main thing is, I'm just wondering why you think for a fact that we haven't reverse engineered this technology.
now you guys gone quiet again. Hey guys, like I don't know why you guys keep going so quiet. I don't know what it is. Hang on a second.
You got me? Check, check.
Hello.
Yep, yep. Good? No?
Okay,
Yes.
now I can now I can hear you finally. All right, good. Okay, now repeat your question.
The question is, what makes you think that we haven't reverse engineered this technology, or there was technology to be reverse engineered? How do we know? None of us do.
Well, technically, we don't know if they haven't reverse engineered it or not. I'm
Or
just,
reverse engineered anything.
correct. We don't know that, but we also don't know if the Tic Tac is alien or not. We don't know if it's just, it doesn't make sense for it to be our own technology when we're having, we're, putting our ships out to war. Not just a field test, but we're sending our ships out to war with Nimitz class aircraft carriers, and we're going to Iraq, and we're seeing the Tic Tac UFO flying around us, hundreds of them, not just one, but hundreds of them.
I would like to
If,
see that video, though, because they just tell us that they're hundreds, but we have not seen that video. So
yeah, well, there wasn't
that's
video
how.
of hundreds of them. That's strictly the radar.
And the thing is, like, we're talking about the United States government, the best people that we want to trust, right, Kyle? We trust the United States government, and whatever they tell us, we're going to take it straight forward and say this is legitimate. This is where it's all coming from. The what we're seeing delivered, and we don't need to fall for it. And I think people are falling for it, hook, line, and sinker.
But that's the thing. It's like that's who you're asking for the information from. You're saying you're going to them asking for their information, so you're going to have to take what they say and say, okay, this is what they're saying. This is why you would have to pay attention. It's like you could pick any individual and say, okay, well, what does he have? What's the information and stuff that he's got? What's the equipment he's got that's validating UFOs? Okay, well, that's where he got. Now the military, they have this, so let's hear what they have to say. And they're saying that it's not us. We don't know what it is. We can't catch it.
When's the first time in ufology that we have to start listening to government officials of what they're saying in regards to this? Haven't they been the biggest cover-ups of this field, this phenomenon, from day one? And in my opinion, it all boils down to obvious military, the great military,
industrial complex.
That's what's going on here. It's in plain sight. It's in plain sight.
That's the thing. I'll tell you the truth. I don't really think the military knew all that much to begin with. And this is something I've always said, that people like us, just normal people who research it, know more about UFOs than the people in the military.
But they're working their own UFOs, these man-made UFOs. It's theirs. And they're not, UFO doesn't mean extraterrestrial. It means that there's unidentified flying objects with meta-propulsion that we can't explain. And I'm pretty sure the military is playing around with that stuff via private corporations building this. And there's black budget projects. It's a no-brainer. But
I think we could agree.
I think
Yeah,
we all can agree.
we can agree
Yeah.
on that, but
I
I'm
think we
talking
can agree
about
that we don't know what the Tic Tac is. We could agree with that, right?
yes, that we can agree with. We don't know what the
There
Tic
you
Tac
go.
is. Yeah,
That's it.
because
That's
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I assume it's extraterrestrial, but because of its features are something that we can't duplicate, and until somebody can bring us some evidence, is showing that this is the evidence proving that we have this kind of technology. So you can speculate all you want.
well, I'll assume that the Tic Tac is ours, and we can speculate all we want to, but I can't prove you that it's under Lockheed Martin or under their assets and they're playing around with
Okay, so
something. I can't prove that to you.
let
Much
me
more
ask
than
you
you
guys.
can prove.
Let
Yep.
let let me ask you guys something. You tell me, what is it that makes you think that it is man-made craft? Explain to me where you're getting all this ideas that it's man-made craft. Who is this stemming from? You
I'm looking
guys
at a lot
originally
of
what?
things. I'm looking at a lot of things, and we could get into it. But
We'll get into it.
mostly, it seems to me, is that when the major media talks about the UAP phenomenon, and when the government's getting involved, and everybody's on the same page, no matter if you're on Fox or CNN, talking about the UAP, and it's a threat narrative. To me, that was the biggest red flag, especially when they had the same people on every other network. And again, these are opposing networks, CNN and Fox, but they have the same people spewing the exact same story. To me, that seemed that, as always, the media is not telling us exactly the whole thing, and it seems like a lot of people are just buying what CNN and Fox are telling them via these talking heads. And so that's my kind of like look at it from my speculation, that this is some kind of propaganda and it has nothing to do with a threat from ET.
Okay, so I asked you, what about the craft makes you think that it is a man-made craft and not an extraterrestrial? And your answer was how the media is all talking about one thing,
Well, they're
had
going off
nothing
the
to do
videos.
with the fucking
They're,
craft.
they're going after the craft videos, the Tic Tac, the Gibble, the Go Fast. That was the whole basis of everything, were these shitty videos. We showed you better videos tonight of the Tic Tac than what the
True.
major media showed on Third Phase of Moon.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
that's why I'm saying this was all a lure to really dumb down the UFO culture as well, to give us what we've always gotten for a long time: shitty videos with nothing to back it up. And
Well,
it's unfortunate that the
it's
major
actually
media doesn't pick up our stuff. It's very sad. We'll take our word back as long as the government releases all the footage directly, and then we all get to decide for ourselves. Let's see everything there that we just saw, not these short little clips. And I think if they do that, we'll probably all understand what we're really looking at here.
I mean, I agree in that sense. I think that they should release their video, the full videos. And there's a lot more that they have that, these are some of their worst videos. Most of their videos are much better than these videos.
Apparently, that's what who's telling you
some
that.
of them, some of them
Hold on a
are,
sec.
I heard Lou Elizondo said,
Lou said that, but it's
Lou
only
said
coming
that,
from Lou.
he
Lou said
saw,
that.
listen,
Sorry.
Lou said he saw a video of a UFO from 50 feet away in 4K.
I wish somebody else would say that besides Lou. I want to hear like Marco Rubio say he saw that. I want to hear it from a congressman versus just somebody other than Lou. Because when we say, and I'm guilty of it too, because I want to be honest, we stated on Third Phase Moon that apparently there's a 22-minute video in crystal clarity of this craft. But unfortunately, we're not hearing it from like really any other sources. But we picked up on it. It sounded good. But now I want to know other people that have seen this besides what Lou said he saw, or what he doesn't even say. He didn't even say he watched it either.
Well,
he just
let's
says
say,
that it exists.
No, he says he's seen it. And not
Did
only
he?
that, but yeah, he said he's seen it, and it's not just him. Harry Reid It
Yep.
said the exact same thing.
Well,
so he must have seen the exact same video.
let's see the video then. Let's see it, because
You
what are
know?
they hiding from us? Why didn't they release it? Yeah, like I said, we'll take everything back, and we'll say everybody's like kumbaya once the government releases this, and we'll give every praise where it's delivered. And if Lou, and if it's the case, we'll praise Lou too. But until that date comes, we're still going to be a little skeptical on it. And I also think that even if they did show us a video, it doesn't rule out that it's technology that's within our assets. And why would they paint this thing pure white, a Tic Tac? Extraterrestrials, from what I've heard, and I know you had your encounter. Was your encounter that you had a pure white object?
Really?
Well, I'm just going there. It's like, if you're calling it ET, I have not seen, and we've got a lot of UFO sightings, and not all of them look like just painted white. To me, this seems more of something that is man-made.
Okay, so
White like an
tell me how many military aircraft do you see that are plain white?
I see a lot of white craft that are military.
Tell me,
for sure.
What kind?
You know, I'm not a military aviation expert, but we live along the coast, and we see aviation airplanes with no windows, and they're pure white. You also
a fighter
see,
jet?
No, I'm not talking fighter jets, like C-17s, the size of C-17s.
For the military.
Yes.
That's all white.
Yes. The size of C-17, all white, no windows, 100%. Mm-hmm.
And it's military.
Yeah.
How do you know it's military?
It's not civilian. It's not commercial. It's too low. They're doing it under commercial exercises. They're being escorted by Black Hawk helicopters.
Are you sure it's not scientific?
They're moving too fast.
Because that's usually what white aircraft or white craft are usually scientific.
Coast Guard
are usually scientific.
Yep, for sure. But so you're saying that flying saucers are white?
No, I'm saying that flying saucers could be fucking any color. The color is irrelevant. Why does the color matter?
It really doesn't. You're right.
Correct.
There you go. We could agree on some things. That's what dialogue's all about. The color
we can't agree on that.
I'll take that. Good one. Yeah.
You know, but I'm just saying, you know, this. Explain yourselves where, you know, you're so adamant that this is man-made, that this is not extraterrestrial.
I say that's a high possibility just as much as your theory, and that's all we need to agree.
Yeah, but I haven't put out 2 fucking documentaries about my single fucking mindset, you know?
We're not talking in the documentaries. We let other people talk. We don't say anything. We just interview.
You know,
and they say it. We don't say anything. We're just the guys asking questions.
Mm-hmm. No,
and
I understand
we're not saying anything. We have not said it. We just say the possibility, just like both sides. Well, it should be both sides.
So is it gonna? I'm just wondering. Are you also going to say in your documentary about how the possibility that it's, you know, extraterrestrial, and that, you know, it's not man-made, you know, and that, you know, that these other theories, that Greer or these other guys are putting out are in fact wrong? Is that going to be in a documentary? Or
Dr. Greer goes into intense detail on his belief in extraterrestrial existence. Of course he does.
No, I'm talking about this, you know, the Tic Tac and that whole incident and everything being man-made. Are you guys going to go in there and say, no, this is a chance that it was extraterrestrial? You know,
it's a good question. And when we asked everybody in regards to that question in the interview, we just asked the question, and you're going to have to find out what they have to say. But it's interesting. It wasn't like everybody was in the same room. We crossed the country to talk to these guys individually without them knowing exactly what we're going to ask. And when they answered the questions with the same questions we gave to everybody with their own thought process. And that's pretty ironic on how it actually comes across. And not everybody has the same opinion too. People have differences of opinions during that conversation, and some people believe that maybe the Tic Tac is extraterrestrial. They think like you do too, Kyle. At the same
But
time,
is that gonna be out? Is that gonna come across in the documentary? Or is it
it's
going to,
been.
is in the documentary, is it going to come across that the extraterrestrial hypothesis is 100% wrong and
I think the
only the,
extraterrestrial.
human, idea is correct?
It's a good question, but I think the whole idea of the extraterrestrial um, aspect of this whole field of ufology has been overblown for way too long, and it hasn't been really going back to the true nature of this technology that's been suppressed, in my opinion. That it does really exist. I believe it, even it doesn't have to defy physics whatsoever. There's something that they've figured out, and they've cracked a code. And I believe, and I think, I'm not sure, I think a lot of people believe that our governments around the world have some kind of power that they're just not giving to us right now. And it's a what is it called? Transnational kind of, control over technology. And I think I think it has been suppressed. And that's just my gut feeling. That's all I got.
Yeah. You know, but is, I'm just wondering if you guys are just pushing the narrative of that it's only, man-made,
We
that,
invited,
there's no evidence to
we
suggest that
invited,
it's,
yep. That's a good question. We invited the opposition. We don't have to name names, but other sides to the story for sure. And all we can do is go and interview and ask questions and invite people. I don't know, who do you want us to interview? If you want us to interview that has a major stake in this field, as some of these bigger players that have these kind of, presence in this field for all these decades, you got to talk to the people at the top. We tried to, and that's what we did. And we just asked the questions, and what they said is pretty interesting. And I was kind of surprised about
I mean, I would
the
like to see,
commonality.
for you guys to get TTSA and Lou Elizondo, Chris Mellons, Harry Reid, uh,
Well, Harry
fucking,
Reid's gone.
all those guys, dude. Marco Rubio, fucking, any of the guys in the Senate who are, go to the actual task force and the actual director of the task force and see what his opinions on it are. Do they think that the people who are actually working in the program today,
That's good.
that's
what
not
we want.
it's not a classified program. It is open to the public, so there's no reason they list the names of the
But
people who work there.
they're not taking public evidence, unfortunately, and that's a red flag.
It's it's not a red flag. It's a sad
Yes,
flag, is what it is. It's not indicating something bad. It's indicating a lack of information.
Sad. Sad.
It's
Whatever.
like,
It's sad. It is very sad. I agree.
Yeah.
Very, very sad. And they should know better.
I mean, in fact, their study that went to Congress went from 2004 till present day or whatever.
Can you believe that?
2020.
That they want to dismiss? Can you believe they want to dismiss any UFO evidence prior to 2004?
Yeah, correct. I mean,
this is the worst, the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And this is part of the team that is part of this push for this Nimitz encounter and therefore the threat narrative. And they're the same people that want to dismiss anything before 2004.
Well, do you understand when they're saying threat? They don't mean a threat as in it's going to harm somebody.
But they want to destroy anything before 2004. They do.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that they even. I'm not sure that they even recorded before 2004. I don't think that they were interested in it.
Well, I don't care about ATIP. I'm caring about all kinds of other Project Blue Book and other things that were involved.
I think they stopped after that. And
they didn't stop.
What were they? What were they then?
Stopped?
No, I'm saying that they weren't as involved in it, that like it's not such a huge conspiracy like we think it is. it was probably much smaller.
Yeah, it was small, but then everything went into conspiracy land during 2020, and then they brought in this UFO threat. It was this uh, thing that was happening on the planet. Everybody knows about it. Don't want to bring it up, but then the next thing was UFOs, and that was the
It's not,
biggest.
that's the thing. They're not saying that UFOs are a threat as in something bad, like
No,
something
they
that's going to
were
harm
no
you.
the talking heads, the four horsemen or whoever they were. They were talking. That was their narrative. It was a threat. It's from China and Russia. You can't forget that. That was
No,
all
yeah,
last
but
year.
Blake, Brent, you motherfuckers, don't you guys are
Wait,
so
hold on.
fucking
And
end out of
all
it.
I'm gonna say, that's
You're
cool,
not
Kyle.
realizing
Wait,
you
hold on.
are
These
part
guys
of the
did
talking
change.
heads, you motherfuckers. You don't
These
get it, do you?
wait, hold
You're
on.
acting like you're not a part of them.
No, we are. We are. We're
Yeah,
definitely all in the system. We're all in the system. But
yeah.
it was interesting that our narrative that we brought up did change it up in the whole media, and everybody, these people that do talk don't say that it's a threat anymore. They stop that language, and that was the best part.
But
And I think
but
that's
that's the
pretty
thing.
cool.
I think that I think it was a good idea for them to say threat in order to get the military to cause some fucking action to say, okay, you know what? If we have to have it to be a threat for us to even pay attention, because if it's not a threat, when they ended Project Blue Book, they said UFOs are
How
not a
much?
threat.
I
That's
don't
what they
know.
said.
I understand. I understand you
You
think
know,
it's a good idea, but is that really the best intentions? And I think these intentions kind of could lead down really shady avenues when you start talking like that. If let me tell you, I don't mind getting headlines. That's why we put our titles the way they do.
yeah.
But to continue to say, but our titles are proper too, because everything you see on Third Phase Moon actually is in the title. But when these guys are, I can understand that they wanted to get people's attention, but and then they immediately changed where, well, maybe it's not a threat. It could be anything. It could be interdimensional. It could be
Hmm.
extraterrestrial. It could be demonic. It could be this. And then they started going down this really weird language afterwards when I guess Greer was, I guess, well, there was some things that Greer said that if if these things were a threat, they would have done attacked us a long time ago. But like you said, Kyle, they wanted to do it for to get people's attention. I'm not sure if that's the best avenue to go down to do it that way.
Okay. So let me
That's
ask you
all.
this. Do you think it would be okay for us to dissect an alien?
If it was dead, yes.
Do you think it'd be okay if we shot one down?
No.
How come?
Why would you?
Well, if they're breaking our laws,
What law? They didn't make laws
well,
with us.
and no, as aircraft from Russia is not allowed to fly over restricted area, and
They're
if you
not in
do,
our
you're going to get
UN.
shot down.
They're not in the United Nations or NATO. They didn't make a treaty with anybody. Why would
No,
they have to abide by our rules?
because it's our rules.
Well,
Because
it's not their
that's what
rules.
happens.
It's not their
Well,
rules.
then guess what? Don't come into my fucking house. Okay, you don't want to wipe your feet. You take your shoes off on my carpet, or you don't fucking come in. As simple as that.
Well, that's what I'm. Well, if they want to take the risk, it's up to them. That's for sure. But I wouldn't. I wouldn't instigate any kind of hostility towards anything. If it were extraterrestrial, I'd be kind of concerned. In my opinion, a lot of this stuff is maybe past civilizations that's been around for a long time, and it's us, man. It could just be all of us, and it's a possibility. And again, we can't prove it, but it makes a lot more sense to me that all this technology might just be from us, from a million years ago, lost civilizations, plate tectonics, just taking over the Earth to wipe its existence from
Yeah, I
anything
get what you're
that we could
saying.
ever discover. Yep.
But the thing is like I gotta say that to rule out the ET hypothesis sounds so narrow-minded that, you know, this is a perfect planet for life to develop on, and that
But what about the
any
narrow-mindedness that it's
species,
not
any
us?
species that exists in the universe would
But what
definitely
about the
want to come and
narrow-mindedness that
investigate
it
this
couldn't be
planet.
us? What about the
I'm,
narrow-mindedness that it couldn't be us?
who's saying that? I'm not saying that.
I'm not saying it either way. There
I'm
you
saying it
go.
could be us, but I'm saying that it's, you know, that
I
to
could
say
say
that
that too.
UFOs, that
Yeah.
that extraterrestrials, to completely say that it's, you know, it's not them.
All we got to
you
do is
know,
prove it, man.
I
All
hope
we
it-
have to do is prove it.
Yeah, and I do.
That's what we're trying to do. We're all trying to prove it, right?
yeah,
That's it.
you know,
We're all trying to prove it. And I think that's what more of this dialogue needs in this community, is just this kind of dialogue, because people are stepping all over the place. And it's good to be friends with UFO Proof. We've been through a lot.
yeah, we have, you know, it's like, I like you guys, man. I'm glad you guys, you know, want to come on and discuss it. And obviously we have our differences in opinion, but it's good that we're
Yeah.
able to sit and talk about it and try to convince each other of our own. You know, I'm trying to convert you guys to my side, and you trying to convert me to your side, and
It's
you
fun.
know, so it is fun. It is a lot of fun, you know.
I know we need
You
more
know.
fun in this community, but
Yeah, we do, man.
man, it is serious business. It is serious business. And again, I think there's technology that they should roll out for the better for humanity, and whatever it is, that's profound statements, but it is true. I'm sure there's something
Yeah.
out there that we could benefit from, that they're keeping it in the crates, in the dark warehouses. You know, it's a money hungry planet, and obviously they're in control and we're not. And there's a power hungry planet right now controlling probably some technology that they're keeping close to the vest, because they want to go through their assets and run it out. And that's kind of how the planet works, unfortunately. But I think we're living in it.
Well, yeah, I'll let you guys have the last word there. With that, I think we're gonna call it a night. But hey, I'm gonna call you guys when we get off here, okay? I want to thank everyone for coming and listening to our debate on this subject, and I want to thank Blake and Brent, you guys, for coming and joining me and helping me host the show and having this debate with me. This is a lot of fun, you guys, and come back anytime you want. All right.
Absolutely. Thanks, UFO Proof.
All right, you guys. Third phase of moon. Thank you, guys. Make sure you guys go like, subscribe them, show them you guys' love. I'll see you guys next time. UFO Proof out. All right, later, you guys.